What's up, everybody? My name is Scott Waters. Welcome to Let's Metal. Going to be doing a rock metal update. That's right. It's time for a rock and metal update. This metal update is going to be all 12-inch vinyl, and I'm going to start off with a couple gifts that came from my friend Ben in Austin. Ben used to do videos. He doesn't really do them much anymore, but regardless, he sent me AIRBOURNE. This is Breaking Out of Hell, and yes, this is the Australian band that sounds quite a bit like AC/DC. You know what? They really don't sound like exactly AC/DC, but they have a huge AC/DC influence. I mean, it's like saying that, you know, early Def Leppard sound like AC/DC or early Crocus sound like AC/DC. It has that vibe to it, but it's not exactly the same. You know, they have their own sound, they have their own vibe. This has got to be their 4th or 5th album now, so they definitely, you know, found their own groove. And it's just straightforward, great, straightforward heavy metal. If this would have came out in 1985 or 84, you know, or 83, in that area, these guys would have dominated. They're still pretty popular now. I actually, on the local radio station here in where I live, 94 Rock, they actually do play AIRBOURNE from time to time, so they actually do have a pretty good following. But I can't imagine how big they would have been if it would have been released, you know, back when that style of music was in vogue. This one also came from him. Scorpions. Sting of the Tail. Sting of the Tail. I just never had this one on vinyl, and him and I were having a discussion on Scorpions vinyl, and he asked me if I had it, and I said no, and sure enough, it showed up in the mail. So very cool. This is very melodic, hard rock from Scorpions. It's not quite the, you know, the heavy metal of Rock You Like a Hurricane and you know, the stuff they did in the 80s and even the stuff they did in the 70s with Julie Roth. But it's still very good. It's way better than Eye to Eye. That album is horrid. But this album here is actually pretty enjoyable, and I like it a lot. So thank you, Ben, for grabbing this one for me. Much appreciated. So Sting of the Tail, Scorpions. This next one, you're going to be like, don't you already have that? Yes, I do. This is the first Mortification from 1991. I am a Mortification fanatic, what can I say? I worked for this record company doing graphics, so they put this one out. I did not do the graphics for this, which is why it's not being shown in a nolifetilmetal graphics update. Someone else did, which is fine, but I still wanted a copy. So yes, I do have other pressings of this, but this is on like a really cool green vinyl, which I guess I'll show you since I talked about it. And I just had to have it. See, it does have an insert, by the way. As you can see, it kind of has this very cool minty green, fiery green, I don't know, this color here, whatever you call that. Original album cover done by drummer Jason Sherlock, which that is him right there. Right there. Jason Sherlock is a fantastic drummer. He actually has played in many other bands, including Horde and Paramecium, among others. Super nice guy, too, that I talked to online on occasion. But yeah, Mortification's first album, straightforward. People call this death metal. It's early death metal, so it's kind of bordering on thrash metal as well. You can hear a lot of, you know, Creator, Sodom, Destruction, that kind of, even Sepultura in this early stuff. But yeah, this is a great album. Very, very well done. I love this album. One of my all-time favorites. This next one is one of those albums people love to hate. And I'm actually thinking about doing a video in the future. Albums people love to hate. Because there's quite a few of them, you know, bands people love to hate, especially, you know, as bands get more popular, a lot of, or even if they get more commercial, all of a sudden the underground fans just hate it. And definitely the case with this one. I can remember even Metallica's ragging on Diamond Head for this album. But Canterbury, man, I really like this album. I mean, what can I say? It's not, you know, as heavy as their first album, you know, the White Album, or even the follow-up that was on it. I don't know. It's just not quite as heavy as people expected him to be. It's a little more pop rock, 80s style pop rock. It's still great stuff, but I mean, if you buy this and just get the song Out of Phase, if you hear that song alone, I mean, that song alone is worth the price of admission, in my opinion. But I really like Making Music too, which was the hit on the album. I don't even know if it was a hit, but it was the single for the album. Yeah, I can understand why people are upset. You know what I mean? It's more commercial. You know, it's kind of like when Raven did Pack His Back. People hated it, and I understand why they hated it. It was a different sound, a different style. This is not Light Into the Nations, you know? So I understand why people didn't like it, but what can I say? I enjoy it. Always have. I still do. I had it on CD for years. Finally scored an original pressing for a decent price. So glad to have it part of my collection. Canterbury. This next one's brilliant. It's unfortunately been... I missed out when it first came out, and the prices jumped quickly on this one. I just didn't want to pay $40, $45, $50 for this thing. So when I find a copy for well under that, I grabbed it. This is Fate's Warnings, 5th full-length album, I believe it was. Parallels. This old man, I swear he was on several different covers in the 80s. I remember seeing him on Sanctuary, among others. I think he was on a Dirty Looks cover as well. It's not the same old man, but it sure does look like him, this kind of sick-looking old man. This is the more progressive rock, hard rock version of Fate's Warning. This one actually, I think, had a hit on it, Eye to Eye. It was a minor hit. I mean, it wasn't like they were, you know, huge mainstream hit, but it was still a minor hit for them. But this is a great album. I love this album. I like Fate's Warning. I even like their newer stuff that some people don't. They're very much a prog rock band now. They're no longer playing heavy metal, but the Arc era will always be my favorite because that's when I first heard of them. But I still like this stuff as well. So Fate's Warning, Parallels. A couple from this next band. This is a German band that everybody probably knows, but some of their 90s stuff is coming out on vinyl finally, and this is Death Row. I forgot the name of the album. Double album, two records because it didn't fit on one apparently. Side 4 has 2 instrumental tracks, Drifting Apart and Pomp and Circumstance, which is just some shred stuff by keep wanting to say Stephen Kaufman, that's not his name. Damn it. By the guitar player. But yeah, I like this album a lot. This is Udo Dirkschneider. This is classic, except, you know, no, it's not Restless and Wild. No, it's not Metal Heart. It's very much, it's very metal. But it does have that kind of 90s, almost cold steel production. So like it or love it, or hate it, whatever. I tend to like it. So I like pretty much anything except Done, including, you know, the album they did with David Reese that a lot of people love to hate. That's one I'm going to have to pull if I do a love to hate video. And then this is one of their more recent videos. This one I got for a decent price as well. I've had it on my Amazon shopping cart forever, and suddenly the price dropped to, you know, well under 20 bucks, so I grabbed it. This is Blind Rage. I have the CD of this. I have the box set CD of this with the flag in it and everything. Finally got it on vinyl. Always thought it was a cool cover. I love Mark Tornillo's vocals. I thought he was great with TT Quick, and he's awesome with Accept. Some people will never accept without Udo, and I don't know. I like him, so whatever. I dig it. Two record set again. I think it's just the black vinyl version, which it says right on the front there. My copy got a little beat up in the mail, as you can see. It's got the corner got crunched. For the price I got it for, I'm not returning it. It's, you know what? I am a bit picky about what I collect, but I don't know. I'm letting that one go for whatever reason. Another one. This is a gift from a friend of mine. This is from Prague. He accidentally bought 2 copies of this, so he shot a copy my way. Merciful Fate, Into the Unknown. Just one that I didn't have in the collection on vinyl. I had it on CD. This is a recent Metal Blade reissue on a gold-colored vinyl. It's in a realistic polyline sleeve. They were realistic. That was the what was the name of the Radio Shack brand? Yeah, classic stuff from them. I mean, some people don't like the later era stuff as much as they do their first 2 albums. I kind of like it better because it's more storytelling in the lyrics, as opposed to the straight up Satan worship he did on the first couple of Merciful Fate albums. But that's just my hang up. And speaking of Merciful Fate, this is them. This is the second full-length album from them. Them being a band who obviously very influenced by King Diamond. They started off basically as a King Diamond cover band, and now they're playing their own originals, but the sound is very much in that similar style to King Diamond. Again, they have it's much about ghost stories and you know, strange stories, whatever you want to call it. Ghost stories is what I call it. This is a 2-album set, but only has 3 sides. I believe the 4th side is etched. I'll have to look. It has been a while since I looked at the D side of the record here. It does have picture sleeves. Unfortunately, as you can see, the picture sleeve was crushed when it went into the. That's the way it was when it went into it. It wasn't. Yeah, you can see that. See if I can get the right kind of glare so you can actually see the. There you go. So you can see the etching on the back. Very cool, black and red marbling. There's the band, and you can see. Hang on, let me put this back in real quick so I don't have to put my fingers all over it and make it all dirty, so you can grubby. Picture of the band, but you can see. Vocalist is the original vocalist for East Coast thrash band Cold Steel, so does a great job. He really has that King Diamond sound and style down. So if you're not offended by the fact that they're getting their sound hugely from King Diamond, it's very good music. I mean, I don't mind. I'm always of the opinion of if it's what you like, do it. You know, I don't care if you sound like another band or not. You know, if you like jazz and it's good jazz, and who cares if it's similar to another band in style, right? This one was surprising. This is John Elefante. This is his 2015 solo album, On the Way to the Sun. Again, John Elefante is formerly of Mastodon, and before that he was in Kansas. Now this album, I was kind of expecting total AOR, because that's kind of what I think of when I think of John Elefante. He did a lot of production back in the 80s and the early into the 90s on his own label, and everything he put out had big, huge choruses and was very much in the AOR style. But this is very good. I call it like prog light. Shockingly good album. Very impressed with it. It actually comes with a 7-inch record, which is on the inside. 7 inches black. The actual 12-inch vinyl is yellow with green and white, maybe even yellow splatter. It's really cool. I guess I should show it to you since I described it. So there's your splatter disc. Very cool. And it does have a lyric insert as well. Yeah, I don't know why I was expecting. I guess I do know why. I mean, it's you just think John Elefante, you think, you know, AOR, but this is very good album from him. I'm really enjoyed it. I'm a huge fan of prog rock, so I was surprisingly shocked to hear that this is a prog rock album and not an AOR album. So very cool. All right, going back to metal. This is an original release from UK's thrash band Onslaught. This is their third album. Another one of those albums that people love to hate. Why do they hate it? Because it's not raw thrash, raw violent thrash like their first album. It's more of a speed metal album than it is a thrash metal album. They added to their fold vocalist Steve Grimmett, who can sing and sing well. So I love this album. I'm a huge fan of speed metal and thrash metal. So to me, it's just, you know, a logical step from thrash to speed, and I mean, the difference isn't like huge. But I can understand why people were, you know, offended by the fact that they went from this kind of raw, venomish thrash metal into a more clean, almost, you know, Anthrax or Agent Steel-like speed metal. Regardless, great album, original pressing, In Search of Sanity. This is on London Records, and I picked this up on the Facebook record, the CD Asylum, from a seller there. As well as these two, I picked them up there as well, and I picked these up for a good price. These were huge recommendations from Greg the Egg. Blackmore Rules on YouTube. He's a buddy of mine. You know, we email back and forth all the time, and I also enjoy his channel. I think he's got a great sense of humor. But this is Highway Pirates by Bullet. Bullet are a new wave of traditional heavy metal band, straight up heavy metal, a little bit of an AC/DC vibe, but nobody would accuse them of being an AC/DC ripoff by any stretch of the imagination. The logo kind of makes me laugh because the original Ultimatum logo that we've used for years and years and years was the first logo we did, but we almost redesigned a new logo, and I still have that logo that we designed in 1993, I believe it was, and it looked just like this. It was Ultimatum in block letters with a hole through it and cracked. And we actually, in one of our first newsletters, we put that logo in there. And when I got these records, I pulled that old newsletter out to check and see, and it's very similar in look and style to this. We ended up not using that Ultimatum logo, so it's not a big deal. But it's just you know, something personal to me that I thought was kind of cool. In any case, Bullets, Highway Pirates. This was from 2011. And then Storm of the Blade, also by Bullets. Once again, it has that cool logo. It's a very similar sound. They're not really, they didn't really veer from the sound whatsoever. So if I get this out of here, you can see the picture sleeve. There's the band. Again, straightforward heavy metal, very much rooted in the 80s, which I love. But this album coming from the 2000s. This is on Nuclear Blast Records from 2014. Bullet, Storm of the Blades. And that is the last one I have to show for this rock and metal update. Appreciate y'all watching. Let me know what you think. Some great stuff in there. Some new stuff maybe that you've not heard of before. With some stuff I hadn't heard before, like Bullet. I was aware of them, but hadn't really heard much of them. So glad to finally get them. Playing in the background is the Musketeers. I happen to be wearing the shirt. This album was by a local Albuquerque band that I've championed for the last. I love them. So, they were also called Rapture before they were called Musketeers. So you can get the Rapture and Musketeers material, including the album that was playing in the background, from boonsoverstock.com. And Rapture's Vacation from Hell, I believe it was called, and Musketeers Downward Spiral. That's it. Appreciate y'all watching. God bless. Stay strong.